everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today we are here with my July reading wrap-up. Let's jump right into it. So for the month of July, I think I'm going to try to do smaller wrap-ups because I am reading entirely arcs and I want to make sure that you guys get my thoughts on those arcs as I go. So I think I'm doing more of like a reading vlog style wrap up every week and a half. It depends on how quickly I finish these books, right? I guess is what I'm getting at. But I think you're getting more than one wrap up this month because 'tis all arcs and I want you to know my thoughts as I go. So right now, the arc that I have started, today is the 2nd. I started Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I am not far in. I am 60 pages in. I'm on chapter 6. I don't love it. I'm bummed about that. First of all, you jump in, it is hella info dumpy. Super info dumpy at the beginning. And it's info dumpy in a way where there's all new worlds, all new words, and you're just expected to like understand what these words mean. You're expected to understand the way that the world works. You're expected to know this like governmental infrastructure of the ninth house. I don't understand any of that. I don't understand how their necromancy works. I don't understand how their magic works. And you're thrown into it, and I am so confused. And the writing is actually very confusing. Like, the writing style itself, very confusing. I will say that the main character is super witty and really funny and sarcastic, and I do enjoy that. I'm assuming at some point I will catch on and I will enjoy this, but I don't want to pick this up. Like, I started it and it's put me off so much that like I don't want to pick the book up and read it again. So that sucks. I am also packing with me All the Bad Apples by Myra Foley Doyle, and Marylou is Everything Everywhere. I've got a couple other arcs in my bag. Today it's 8:30 in the morning. I've got to go to a funeral this morning. And then I will be going, which is why I'm putting a shirt on over this, obviously. But it's just too hot to put it on right now. So my makeup done, except for my lipstick, because I haven't eaten yet. And I'm going to go to a funeral. I'm going to go, after that, as soon as that's over, I'm heading straight up the mountains. And I will be up the mountains from today, Tuesday, until Sunday. So I'm hoping to get some decent reading done up there. And I have 3 arcs with me. You know what I might do? I might pack another one just in case I decide that I can't read this. This doesn't come out until September. I picked it up because I'm really excited about it. But right now, it is struggle bus city just to pick this up. I don't want to do that to myself. I feel like in terms of size, Swipe Right for Murder is more along the lines of Gideon. So I'm going to take Swipe Right for Murder because I feel like this one also has like a little bit of mixed media in it. This one might be like a faster, fun read for like poolside while I'm up there. I'm going to bring this up there with me just in case as well. Nano started yesterday, and I did get about 1,100 words in. I'm still querying. I'm still writing. I want to get through these arcs, but like I'm not going to push myself into a slump for one. All right, so that is it for the intro to my July portion, this portion of July's vlog, and we'll see which arcs I get through. We'll see what arcs I get through. I'll check in later. Hi friends, it is me. What am I doing? So I finished 2 of my arcs and I'm here to chat with you about them. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I have officially DNF'd for now Gideon the Ninth. I will go back to it, just not sure when. I need a break, I think. So I went ahead and took 3 arcs up the mountains with me. I took up, first up, Swipe Right for Murder, which is by Derek Millman. This is a book that I read in a single day. It's thick. It's not actually that long. I think it's still like under 400 or... No, it's definitely more than 400 pages. But it's a longer book, and I read it in a single day. Pretty much almost a single sitting. I did annotate this, but I did not tab it. This one is pitched as Adam Silvera meets David Arnold. I don't know who David Arnold is, but I want to say that it's like a governmental cyber homegrown terrorist meets gay dating app. It's so weird, but it worked, but it didn't. I gave it 3 stars because I'm really conflicted. Again, a really, really quick, fun read, but it made no sense. Like, you've got to be able to suspend your belief and be like, okay, this 17-year-old goes on this dating app, finds random dudes that are near him to go have sex with. One of the dudes that he has sex with, he wakes up next to, dude is dead. They are now shooting at him. They think that he has some crazy black hat drone technology that's going to help them with their homegrown terrorists plot to kill a whole bunch of people. They think that he's involved. He's not. It's a mistaken identity. It's this, it's that. It's like him running for his life. Nerve meets political meets terrorism meets cyber division. I don't even know. And then all of his friends and his family just kind of take it in stride, and they're like, of course you woke up next to a dead dude. Of course now people are after you thinking that you murdered somebody. Of course they think that you have this like drive with this malware or this like drone technology on it. Of course that's what happened. So he's on the run, and it's all like super convenient because it's like Upper East Side rich New York, and everybody's got money and resources, and it's so weird. But it was actually a really, really quick read, and I still enjoyed the ride, even though it made no sense from like a logistic standpoint. Like, you really have to suspend your belief for this one. I liked the characters. I liked the writing style. It was quick, like, again, super fast paced. Not just like fast to read, but also fast paced. So it kept you reading, and I enjoyed it. Was it my favorite? No, but I enjoyed it. So this was like a solid 3-star read. This is a Little Brown release. This comes out on August 6th. Would I recommend it if you're into that kind of a thing? Yeah. I will say, tons of trigger warnings. A lot of people die in this book, and a lot of people are described in their deaths. There are terrorist acts. There are mass killings. Kind of runs the gamut of like, people die in this book. If you think you can handle it, give it a read. Again, comes out on August 6th, right? Yeah. So there's that one. And then I read probably the most confusing book I've ever read in my whole life, Marylou is Everywhere. This one is by Sarah Elaine Smith. This one is a Riverhead Books release, and this one comes out on the 30th of July. So I'm hoping to post this sooner than later, so you'll see this hopefully by the time I get done my next arc. I'm going to do like 3 at a time. This is so confusing. This is a story about a girl and her 2 brothers, and their mother has abandoned them. Their father has never been around. Virgil is the oldest, and then Clinton has a different dad, and then dad number 1 comes back around, and they have Cindy. So it's Virgil, Clinton, Cindy. And through this, you follow this family as they try to make ends meet, as Cindy tries to reconcile the fact that she's been abandoned by everybody, that she has this life she doesn't really love. It is a small rural town in Pennsylvania. It's not anywhere near me. Highly uneducated, a lot of dropouts. It is difficult to read in that I think the author does a really great job at portraying an unreliable, young, illiterate-ish narrator. Has a really tough life. There's a lot of body issues with this. There's a lot of self-esteem issues with this book. There's a lot of bullying that takes place in this book. There's a lot of just that really poor rural life that goes down. Drugs, jail, missing kids. One of our main characters, who is kind of there, kind of not, is a girl that goes missing, and she is the ex-girlfriend of the oldest brother in this book. She is half black. She's the only half black or person of color in their town, so everybody knows her. Everybody judges her. There is like low-key, high-key racism in this book in reference to her. It basically follows our main character, Cindy, as she kind of thinks about this girl who goes missing and wishes she could be her. Not only in the fact that she led what she perceives as a better life while she was still in town, but also because she gets to disappear. She gets to be remembered in all of her good attributes, because when something goes horribly wrong with somebody, they always forget the bad, they always remember the good, and she kind of is this infamous, larger-than-life person, and Cindy wants that for herself. She wants to be known, she wants to be kind of revered and looked up to that way. There's a lot of mental health rep in this. It's not great, it's not portrayed fantastically, it's not dealt with well at all, but there are multiple people in this book that are kind of going through breaks. It's a rough read. I want to compare it almost to like All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, in the lens that it's a young kid in just a really, really horrible situation, but where you root for the characters in All the Ugly and Wonderful. And this one, you're kind of like, what is happening? I don't know if I can get behind this. I will say, the writing is beautiful. There's these like super quotable, really, really gorgeous lines. The writing style is really good. Again, it's difficult because the narrator is unreliable and she's young and she's uneducated, so you're reading through that lens. But I am really excited to see what this author writes next. But the plot of this one did not work for me. It's very hard to read. There are trigger warnings for self-harm. There are trigger warnings for drug abuse, alcohol abuse, abandonment. There are abuse in general, violence, poor mental health. There's trigger warnings for so much. And the overall plot of this one did not work for me, but I do think, given a different writing style or a different story, this author would be amazing. She has a way of writing that I think would work well with like a Strange and Beautiful Stars of Ava Lavender, a Fantabulous kind of Katrina Leno style. I could see her doing really, really well with that. With this really dark story, it didn't work as well for me. It's 3 stars because I can see that what she did was intentional. I don't think she unintentionally made me feel the way I felt. So kudos to that. I just didn't like the plot, but I do like the writing, and I do think that she'll do great things. So there's that. I finished those 2 while I was up there. And then my sister came up with my niece, who's 16 months old, and things got hectic and crazy. And I started All the Bad Apples by Moira Foley Doyle, and I got to page 45. So I am tabbing this one up and annotating it as I read, but I have not gotten very far. I'd hoped to finish that one while I was up there, because these 2 were finished in like 3 days, and I was up there for 6. Totally could have finished another book, but again, things got busy. I might give them to friends, see if anybody else wants to read or review them, or maybe I'll start doing giveaways for ARCs, because I've annotated them. Like, it's just kind of the way I roll right now. Like, I annotate what I read, so whatever I have is going to be annotated. Like, I'm not going to give this to a half-price books. I don't want somebody to profit off of these, so they can only go to friends or get, like, trade it and or gift it to people, like in giveaways. And I don't think ARCs for Trade want annotated books, but I annotate. It's just kind of my role. So we're gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with these. Maybe I'll put a poll up. Would you rather see me like trade these with friends, give them to friends, or would you be interested in annotated books from me as giveaways? Vote up above. I'm gonna put a poll. Okay, so that's it. That's my update for now, and I'll check in with you guys hopefully when I have finished All the Bad Apples, and then I'm going to finish up this part of the wrap-up and do small chunks of ARC reviews. Okay, bye. Hi everybody, it is Julie, and I am back with my final update of this particular part of my reading wrap-up for July. I have a couple more ARCs that I have finished recently, one that I'm in the middle of. Basically, I have finished graphic novels. That's kind of it. I did start, but have not finished, All the Bad Apples by Moira Foley Doyle, and I am really enjoying it. I knew I would. It's got the same kind of like magical, whimsical vibe that her books always have. It's dark, it's saying something, it's queer, it's sapphic, it is heartbreaking, but it's also really good. But I still have a chunk to go, so if you want to get my full final thoughts, You're gonna have to pay attention to the next part of my wrap-up. Right now, I just have 3 graphic novel arcs to talk about. First up, I read Bury the Lead by Gabby Dunn. Holy crap, Gabby Dunn. This is a murder, mystery, thriller graphic novel. It is adult. There is a sapphic sex scene in this. Very good. Sorry, my other ones are sliding off my lap. This one is about a journalist intern, and she just wants to be taken seriously. And so when this woman is arrested for supposedly stabbing and murdering her husband and son, she goes in and tries to get the lead and figure out exactly what happened, because she doesn't believe that this woman is capable of killing her husband and son. Said convict is not well. And things kind of take on a world of their own after that. So, was interesting. However, they tried to unpack a lot in this tiny little graphic novel. And, ooh, there's the love scene. I'm sorry, that was probably boobies. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I think I 4-starred it. They tried to do a lot in it, but I am excited to see where it goes, what comes next. I don't think that would be the end, because it definitely left off in like a not the end kind of a way. So hopefully there's more to come. That one, when does that come out? This one comes out on October 2nd. And then we have one that comes out on August 27th, and that is Little Witches by Lee Dragoon. This one is about Little Women. It's a Little Women retelling in more modern-ish times, but not really. Kind of not. The Little Women are Little Witches, and it touches on slavery. Kind of the same storyline of Little Women, but reimagined with witches, and it's cute. I really liked it. I think I 4-starred this one too. 'Twas decent. I enjoyed it. Then I read Chris, The Gift of Wrath by Ted Naife and Warren Wuchinish. Why are names so difficult to say? This is Chris. This is our main character, and he was kind of dropped off with these farmers, and he knows that they're not his actual parents. He doesn't know who his parents are. He thinks that this like king guy is his actual father, but he's not really sure. And he goes out, and to protect this girl that he has a crush on, he kills this giant saber-tooth beast thing. Turns out it's actually like a spirit from the land of his forefathers, and it's calling him home. And it gifts him with wrath. And it does talk about toxic masculinity. But you know what? Also, the female lead in this is like super badass. And she was like, listen, my life is more than just getting married and having kids. And I want you to see me as more than that. And I expect to be treated as more than that. And it was kind of badass and awesome. But also, there was like a story about the past and about this king that he thinks is his father, and the like history of the world that we're seeing that was told, but there was like no delineation of like when that was actually being told. Like it was very confusing when things were taking place in the present and when it was a tale about the past. And it read really confusing in parts, but I did like it. It's graphic-y in terms of like gore and violence, but it is kind of an interesting art style. And overall, I enjoyed it. I think I 3-starred this one. This one comes out on September 17th. So that is an option for you. Those were the 3 graphic novels, all still arcs, so they still count in my July arc month. Those were all ones that I read. And then if you want to know more about what I think about All the Bad Apples, you'll have to pay attention to the last part of my wrap-up, which will probably be taking place after I come back from Texas. But I wanted to get this up and just kind of wrap up the things that I have read so far. So, Swipe Right for Murder, Marylou is Everywhere, some graphic novels, a couple audiobooks. I'm in the middle right now also of Getaway Girl by Tessa Bailey. I'm not even halfway through that one yet. Which one do I recommend the most out of all these arcs? If you're into like crime graphic kind of like psychological thrillery things, the Bury the Lead was actually really, really good. And then Swipe Right for Murder was still Like, it was not believable, but it was fun and fast, and I really did enjoy that one. So that, and then if you like Moira's writing and like witchy-ish generational stories about females and the way that lesbians or bi or women who love women are treated, or you just want to hear more stories set in Ireland, then All the Bad Apples is going to be for you, even though I haven't finished it yet. So I don't know my full rating, but I am enjoying it. Hi everybody, it is me back with my last update for this particular vlog. I was supposed to have it edited and uploaded and ready to go today, and that just didn't happen because I got busy. I ended up with a much busier Sunday than I anticipated, and I spent a significant amount of time hanging out with Amy from Amy Reads, which was just absolutely phenomenal and amazing, and she is fantastic. I can't believe how much we ended up having in common, and just like the best breakfast date. So I'm so glad that I got to meet her. She will be listed down below. I'll link her down below. Go check out her channel for sure. And then after that, I went to my sister's house and we had a Sunday fun day outside in like the 90-degree muggy heat, and I stayed in the shade, but I don't know, it wore me down and I ended up feeling so sick. So I got home and I showered, and I was in bed by 7 o'clock, asleep by 7:30, and I slept entirely through the night until my alarm went off at 5:45. So I did not get my editing done. I had planned on coming home and doing my video editing and getting this video up, and that didn't happen, which means I'm at least back and I have finished a book that I was talking about, and I can give you some stats. So let's do that. I did finish All the Bad Apples by Moira Foley Doyle, and this was a phenomenal read. I think it's a really important read, a really amazing read. I tabbed the heck out of it. I really, really loved it. I absolutely support this author. I will be getting a finished copy. There's something about her writing that is so fantastic, and it is much in the vein of like Katrina Leno. It has that contemporary with a magic twist, a little bit of a fantabulous kind of a feeling. I really enjoyed this. This is incredibly queer. A lot of female-female relationships, coming to terms with sexuality, coming out, and just the queerness in this was fantastic, but the correlation between queerness and witches and ostracization, words. There's a lot in this book that's kind of distinctly related to Ireland and relevant to Ireland. There is a ton in this that also correlates to where we are today in the United States and across the world. A lot of systemic suppression of women in general. The idea that women are bad or broken or worth less if they have had premarital sex, if they are queer. All of that is addressed in this book, and it also has this really cool generational witchy ghosty vibe as well. Really, really good. I really did love it. I think that it just missed a little something for me. There was one of those like plots where it's like, oh, I figured it out. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I figured it out. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I think I figured something out. But the author keeps trying to make you think you didn't. And then like, but maybe in the end you actually did. So, where they tried to like bury the twist, but the twist to me was really evident. I don't know. But so that kind of like detracted a tiny bit. Also, there is discussion in the past of things that are like so distinctly Irish that they were a little bit lost on me. But the author's note in the back of this is phenomenal. You should read it. In general, you should read this. It's a strong, like 4.25, 4.5 stars. I rated it 4 stars on Goodreads. Really, really good. Plus this cover is stunning. So that was the last thing that I finished. I also wanted to talk about, which I'd forgotten about, was an audiobook read, which was With a Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is another fantastic audiobook. Another one, just like The Poet-X, that is actually narrated by the author herself. And she's a fantastic voice actor. So that was amazing to listen to. That was a 5-star read, and I Loved it. It was something that I read directly after listening to Fix Her Up. It messed with my head because Fix Her Up has a man who says baby girl a lot, and in a way that I enjoy. I'll give it to the people that get frustrated with it, because reading it, kind of gross. Listening to it, super great. Not mad about it at all. But listening to that and then going to with the Fire on High, where the girl calls her like actual infant baby girl, it messed with my head a little bit. This is about a teen mother who is just doing her best to make it through, to finish high school, to do this culinary class, to do a culinary class elective that will actually send her to Spain, where she can continue to learn her craft and her passion, who's a little bit hesitant to get into new relationships after being burned by her ex. All around, amazing book, 5 stars, loved it. Also, had no idea that it was set in Philly, so there was all these little like nuggets and things that happened where like it felt very familiar to me, which was really, really cool. So that was really nice. That was the only non-ARC thing that I've read this month. I'm in the middle of an audiobook for Getaway Girl by Tessa Bailey, who is the author of Fix Her Up. I have not finished that yet, so that doesn't count. And I will be starting an ebook smutty read with Chelsea and some people after our live drunk show. So that won't be an ARC, but everything else has been ARCs so far, which is really, really good. I read 3 physical books. I read Swipe Right for Murder, Marylou is Everywhere, and All the Bad Apples. I read 3 graphic novel ARCs. I read Chris, the Gift of Wrath, Little Witches, and Bury the Lead. I think they were all 3-star solid to 4-star and a 5-star read. So we had Swipe Right was 3, Marylou was Everywhere was 3, All the Bad Apples was 4, Bury the Lead was 4, Little Witches was 4, Gift of Wrath, Chris Gift of Wrath was 3, and With a Fire on High was 5. So overall, I have read 1,694 pages, graphic novels, and 7 things. But that is now everything for my mid-July reading wrap-up of ARCs. And I'll keep you posted at the end of the month with what else I read. It's not bad so far. So that's it. If you like this one, do give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.